This is day one with Regan's Ke70. We've previously done a bunch of work on this car and he's taken it to the next level. His LS swapped at T56. So let's do a quick walk around the car for day one, see what we're up for. 4 studs still, Willwood brakes. See, he's got big old LS in there. No turbo yet, but you'll see that. We're going to do a tube front, clean up all this mess so we can fit everything in. He had to chop a bit of the floor up, a few little holes here and there to get the old gearbox in. Bit of daylight coming through the firewall. We're going to remake that. Going to use influences from a bit of the Engineered to Slide S13 and Hilux project. We're also going to extend this half cage into a full cage. Don't know what we're going to do down here, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It's also got this blanking plate that we did last time, new radiator, bunch of little bits and pieces. Should be fun. I just bolted up his turbo. How the f***'s that gonna work? What do you reckon? We got to cut some stuff. I've stripped out a lot of the crap from inside it so we can get a better look, better access. So where we're up to, we've bent up a bar to go around the back of the engine bay, and it's sort of just roughed in at the moment. This bar runs from chassis rail to chassis rail, and this is going to be essentially the spine. Next step's going to be the rear spine. I'm going to have to make something up to go around here. Then we can start filling in the gaps between it and put some sheet on there. We're at a point now where we've sort of got a bit of a backbone, got a bit of a main spine going on here that's sort of attached to where the factory cross member would be. At the back, sheeted in a hoop here to pick up that handbrake mount, boxed off, the seat mount at the end and mounted it into that, and of course the hoop around the firewall, which is a little bit better trimmed out now. So we're going to focus on building the spine next and then some sheeting. He's looking for that racy, industrial sort of finish. Ditch the turbo, ditch the door bars, started on the front half of the cage. Use the old mounts, we're going to use the old cage. Got here the cage pre-painted, ready to be installed.
Speak. No speak. Okay.
We're about 3 weeks into the Ke70 builds. I finished the roll cage Started mocking up the tunnel and we've started mocking up the front end. Let's check it out. We have a removable top radiator support, removable crash bar. It's supposed to mimic the factory bumper bar. And I'm going to be surprising Regan with a removable front lip. He didn't want any of this because he's got no taste. We still have headlight mounts to do. We still have bonnet pin mounts to do, strut top bracing, a lot of welding, a bit of sheet metal. Still a long way to go. This is the final mock-up on the Ke70. We've done a fully removable front lip, front crash bar, tow hooks, light mounts, brace the strut tops all the way into the firewall. So all we've got to do is pull the motor and weld underneath. Time to tear down. We're going to do a rejig of Regan's boot area. We need to fit all this stuff in the back. It's not in bad shape. It's not too rusty. There's no real damage. But we're just after a clean, planned look. So everything works and feels like it's supposed to be there. You can see the crash bar that we did before. This all mounts up to factory parts, so it's fully removable, and we're going to leave this alone. We're going to do a drop tank style setup. So we're probably going to cut a large section of this out and have a new well here to suit the surge tank and all the other accessories we've got going on. We're going to try and stick to these factory rails. We're going to leave them alone and probably just build between them. And we've got to put the battery in here too. How that's going to work, I haven't really decided yet. Battery's really got to be separate from the car. Well, from the fuel system, especially one like this. It's not a sealed unit. Pretty decent sized tank for a little car, but I guess it's going to be burning a lot of fuel. Inside's done. So we've set up the steering wheel, tunnel's all finished, looking pretty cool. Front end's nearly there. Got to do a few little mounts. Got to do headlights still. Just trying to figure out how I'm going to make that work. I've just framed up the boot. I'm going to take it out of the car to weld it up, sheet it, do all the fiddly work, and weld it back in. So we've got this big old space there now to fit the tank, pump, surge tank, lift the pump. We've got a bit of a gap up the back here where we're going to try and put the battery. Started making a box already. Should be plenty enough room in there. From the back, it's fairly standard. Final walk around on Regan's Ke70. Everything's finished. We've upgraded his half cage to a full cage now. Full welding cage. New steering column mount. You can see behind that too is new tunnel. We've borrowed a bit of inspiration from Engineer to Slide and Short Rodeo for this one. Bit of tube work with sheet over the top. Real simple and quick. And we've managed to tie it into the chassis too, so I think this actually adds a fair bit of rigidity to what is now a pretty safe little car. So this is so he can fit his T56. You can see the handbrake mount we already previously did. It's got a little inspection panel up here that's all removable as well, so unreal access. You can see where the cage mounts up the front here and how tidy it fits with the door trims. Managed to drop his fuel tank about 200ml. Batteries now securely hidden away up the back. All the surge tank and accessories are sitting pretty down in this little cavity. Everything's nice and low and well protected again with a tube frame, sheet metal over the top. Along with the bash bar, I think he's pretty well protected in the rear end. So this is a full tube front end. I like these sort of front ends when they look as factory as possible. So we've gone for some factory JDM lights. The lights themselves aren't actually an original item. I think it kind of goes with the Frankenstein nature of this car though. The lip, sheet metal and tube, that's fully removable as well. So I've reinforced his strut tops a little bit. That all runs back to tube work, goes all the way to the chassis around there. Got a removable strut brace. We've tied his strut tops into his tunnel here. So you can see there's actually heaps of room to work on the car. Heaps of room for activities. Maybe he'll still turbo it. We've tried our best to talk him out of it. Removable rad support. Pretty much everything strips off this front end so you can pull the motor straight out. We can't wait to see this thing running.